Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tear down the old way of thinking about enterprise systems. So forget all that clunky software and those siloed departments. We're about to explore a pretty radical approach where the system is the strategy, and it's all built from the ground up on one powerful idea: shared understanding.
I want you to think about your company's software for a second. Now, think about its strategic plan. They're almost always two completely different worlds, right? One is just a bunch of code, and the other is a document that, let's be honest, probably sits on a shelf somewhere. But what if they were the same thing? What if your company's core strategy wasn't just in the system, but it was this system itself?
And that's really the core idea behind something called a Catalyst Digital Management System, or DMS for short. It's a radically new way to build the engine that runs a company. It's one that's designed to get rid of that expensive, messy sprawl of traditional ERPs and all those SaaS tools, and instead create a truly agile organization.
This quote really reveals the whole philosophy. Before a single line of code gets written, the real work starts with people. The entire focus is on building consensus, getting a unified vision across the leadership team. You see, in this model, technology comes second to human alignment. That is the absolute, non-negotiable starting point.
Okay, so how do you actually build this shared understanding across a whole company? I mean, it's not just a couple of informal meetings. There's a formal, really structured process to get it done right.
And that formal process is called strategic synthesis. You can think of it like a structured journey that forces the leadership team to answer the really hard questions. Where are we actually today? What do we want to become? And what are the real, concrete steps to get us there? But this isn't just another planning workshop. The answers themselves become the machine-readable foundation for the entire system.
So how is the system actually put together? Well, it's not about just installing some generic software off the shelf. It's about building the enterprise's own unique DNA. So the system doesn't just show up one day as this big, clunky program. It actually evolves organically through a series of milestones. Each one represents a key decision or a critical outcome. This means the system literally grows with the company. As these milestones stack up, they form a unique digital fingerprint, an evolving identity for the organization instead of trying to cram it into some rigid, pre-built box.
The strategic synthesis process itself is pretty logical. It breaks down into 4 phases. First, you start by looking inward, with a really honest assessment of where things are right now. Then you look outward, exploring what's happening in the market and what opportunities are on the horizon. It's only after that you can define the real strategy and the operating model. And that final step, step 4, that's where the magic really happens. Everything that the leadership team just defined gets translated directly into a machine-readable system. It creates this seamless flow from human insight straight to AI-powered action.
So what do these milestones actually create? Well, they create these living artifacts, like the strategic plan, or an organizational blueprint, or even a full inventory of your processes. But here's the crucial part. These aren't just static PowerPoint decks or Word docs. No, they are machine-readable assets. That means the company's core logic, its strategy, its structure, its capabilities, is all captured as structured knowledge that the AI system can actually understand and act on.
Okay, so how does this thing actually run day to day? This isn't about replacing people with robots. Not at all. It's about creating a really powerful partnership between human leadership and artificial intelligence.
This collaborative engine works kind of like this. On one side, you have your human leaders. Their role is purely strategic, making the big picture calls that reconfigure the system live as the business journey unfolds. On the other side, you've got AI agents. Their role is tactical. They take those human decisions and they execute them instantly. They process new plans, new models, new metrics, all according to the rules that the humans set. It's just a perfect sync of strategy and execution.
So what's the ultimate payoff? Why go to all this trouble to build a system this way? Well, it gives an organization 2 distinct superpowers that are basically impossible to get with traditional software.
To really get these superpowers, just think about the constant friction you see in most companies. The strategy changes, but the systems can't keep up, IT is always playing catch-up, and leaders feel trapped by their rigid software. This DMS approach, it's designed to just eliminate that friction completely. giving you two fundamental advantages that create a truly agile, responsive organization.
Superpower number 1 is total alignment. Because the strategy literally is the system, there's no gap between the high-level plan, the way the organization is designed, and the technology that supports it. They're all part of one single unbroken flow. This just gets rid of that massive disconnect we see all the time, where IT systems are constantly struggling to catch up with the goals of the business.
And the second superpower? This one's all about agility, through something called continuous reconfiguration. What this really means is that leaders are no longer held hostage by their software. They can make a strategic decision, let's say to enter a new market or restructure a team, and they can reconfigure the operating system of their business live to reflect that new reality. The system keeps pace with the business in near real time.
So ultimately, this whole approach presents a pretty fundamental choice. Are companies building systems that are just reactive, always patching problems and putting out fires as they pop up? Or are they designing a living system that's built from the ground up on a solid foundation of shared understanding to continuously evolve? And you know, that question really gets to the very heart of what it means to be an agile, future-ready organization.